like a Hellcat.
Welcome to the digital world of Sri Rama Bharati Public School. Today we are going to discuss second part of computer networks, and that is network devices, hub, routers, switches and gateways. So stay tuned and stay fit. Thank you and enjoy the session. Welcome back students to another session of computer networks. In this section, in this lecture, we will be discussing about the network devices. We will be discussing about hub, router, switches and gateways. If you still have a query, please you can come anytime and discuss with me. Thank you. Used to set up a network. So let's start. What are routers? What are switches, gateway, repeaters? These all we will be discussing here in this lecture. So let's start with the first one. Hub. This is the picture of the hub. What is hub? Hub is also called a network hub because we used to attach different components onto this with the help of a hub. It is a common connection point for devices in a network. Hubs are the devices commonly used to connect segments of a LAN. Basically, what we did with the help of hub, we used to connect many computers into the hub. If I go to the previous slide, then I can see there are certain ports at the back of my hub in which we can plug in our USB. So it act like a joining part to my various workstation. When a packet arrives at one port, it's copied to the other port so that all the segments of the LAN can see all packets. There are three types of hubs: passive hub, active hub and intelligent hub. Passive hub. This type of the hub does not amplify or boost the signal. It does not manipulate or view the traffic that crosses it. It act like as a dummy. So it will not do any very important part. So that is known as a passive hub. Active hub. It amplifies the incoming signal before passing it to the other ports. It acts like a main, you can say a strong point. Intelligent hub, they are also called a smart hub. They are also called as a active hub. Switch. Next networking device is switch. You must be confused between this point, that what is the difference between switch and what is the difference between hub, because most of the switch and the device of the switch and the hub both look same, but there is a difference. Let's see. What is the difference? Switch. A switch is a hardware device that channels incoming data from multiple input ports to a specific output port that will take it towards its intended destination. It is a small device that transfers data packets between multiple network devices such as computer, router, servers and other switches. So let's find out what is the difference between switch and a hub. If I talk about the layer, you must not be aware of this thing. In our OSI, Open System Interconnection Network, we have 7 layers in which my message passes. Like any message which we send from our computer, that has to pass the 7 layers. That has to pass 7 layers. So what is layer? Hub works in a physical layer, switch works in a data link layer. We will not discuss about the detail of the 7 layers. It's just that you make understand this point now, that there are 7 layers in the network connection. If we talk about the transmission type, hub uses broadcast type transmission, whereas switch uses unicast, multicast as well as broadcast type transmission. What do you mean by unicast? that means in one direction. Multicast, both directions, and broadcast to many different directions. Ports. Port is a different plug-in which is present at the back side of your device. Hub can have maximum 4 ports, whereas switch can have 24 to 28 ports. Next, router, a very important part in the network field. A router is a networking device that forwards data packets between computer networks. Our message is always divided into small packets, and packets are further divided into frames. Router performs the traffic directing functions on the internet. Then, using the information in its routing table or routing policy, it directs the packet to the next network on its journey. For that means the router act like your determiner. It act like your direction giving, like which packet has to move to which network, how many packets has to arrive, how many packets has to be transferred or should go out of my device. The main difference between router and switch. If I talk about layers, yes, these are the very 7 layers which we discussed in the last slide. Router works in the network layer, whereas switch works in a data link layer. Usage, router is used in LAN and MAN, whereas switch has like lesser efficiency as compared to the router. So switch is only used in a LAN. Data format. Router sends data in the form of packets, switch sends data in the form of packets and frames. Frames, I told you, the other part, when we divide the packet into some more parts, subdivide the packets, it becomes a frame. Mode of transmission, duplex mode in the router, whereas switch also follows duplex mode, unicast and multicast. Next device, bridge. When we need to connect two networks, we use bridge. A bridge operates at the data link layer, the very first layer of your OSI network model. This is the first layer. A bridge is a repeater which adds on functionality of filtering the content by reading the MAC address of the source and the destination. Always make a point that at your source and at your destination, all these things needs to be there. For example, if I need to send a message from my computer to your computer, so I do have all these devices at my end, and you must also have all these devices at your end. It is also used for interconnecting two LANs working on the same protocol. It has a single input and single output port, thus making it a two-port device because it connects the different networks. Then lastly we have gateway. What is a gateway? Gateway is somewhat similar to the bridge, but here when we need to connect two different networks, we use gateway. Gateway, as the name suggests, is a passage to connect two different networks together that may not work upon the different networking models. They basically work as a messenger agents that take data from one system, interpret it and transfer it to the another system. Gateway are also called protocol converters. What are protocols? In the later on session we will understand what is protocol and can operate at any network layer. Gateway are generally more complex than switch and the router. So, this is all about your network devices. I hope you like my lecture, and if you still feel that you didn't understand anything, please